Hello everybody, my name is Pravus and welcome back to more Plague Inc. Evolved Cure Mode. It is time for the nanovirus. You know how I said the prion was the hardest disease type I'd encountered so far? Yeah, that's nothing compared to the nanovirus. This thing is so much worse. It is brutal. I spent the last 3 hours banging my head against a wall trying to come up with strategies that will work, and I did manage to beat it by a hair. And yet somehow I got 3 stars, so we're going to see if we can replicate that today. Now, the nanovirus is obviously an artificial life form. We are going to be aware of it very early on. Within the first week, we should discover it. And we'll not have to work on a vaccine. That means no development, no production, and no distribution. Instead, we're going to be writing a kill code to broadcast around the world. The good news is this kill code is actually a very, very fast development. We should be able to beat this within like 6 months of the game. The downside is the nanovirus is so infective and so lethal that it really is going to be a race against the clock trying to get that kill code written, because we are going to be losing so much authority due to deaths that it's almost impossible to beat. I'm not saying almost impossible, I obviously have done it, but it's really hard, okay? So, let's go ahead and take a look at our task force. I've changed this up only slightly. The EMTs are still good in this case. Global infection rate reduction still pretty good, though global fatality rate might be okay too. I still think this is the best. Medical coordinator for Panic, because Panic will be all over the place. A celebrity scientist, because we will be doing some lockdowns. And instead of the forensic epidemiologist, I'm going to go for the land border controller. The epidemiologist is pretty good in the sense that it does speed up the code, yes, but I'm finding my problem isn't necessarily the code, it's that I can't even get on top of the virus in the first place. So getting the land border controller means if this spawns in the right country that doesn't have immediate access to a port or an airport, this actually could be what saves us. So we're going to go for it. Mega brutal difficulty, let's give it a go. We're going to start in Egypt and go for our standard opening moves because it's really the only thing you can do. Now, let's talk a little bit about the cure. So it's important to understand some of the mechanics of the cure, because not every country contributes equally toward the kill code, right? Rich countries, just like in the base game, contribute more, which means we want to get them on our side working on that kill code as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, they do not contribute toward the kill code if they have not been explored in some way. We have no intelligence on them. So the first thing we are going to do, besides just jumping between continents looking for the disease, is specifically visiting each of the rich countries so that once we are able to work on that kill code, they are all contributing as much as possible, right? That's just to give us a little bit of extra time. So let's go ahead and head over here into West Africa, like so. Then we're going to head down here toward Brazil. I'm not expecting to discover it right away, though we might. It'll give me a clue as to where it is in a minute. Oh, it's been discovered in Sudan, so it's in Africa. Okay. Africa's not the worst thing in the world. What we're going to do now is go to quarantine all of Africa with a lockdown. Now, the downside, of course, of this is most people are not going to follow it because we haven't exactly explored much over here, but we can get a lot of this gone. There's a lot of Western Europe. Now let's head over into Africa and try to get everyone to contribute toward the lockdown as much as possible. Now, we do still need to analyze the nanovirus like several other disease types. That's actually already done. It's done very quickly. Let's go ahead and buy the development of the kill code, which means people will start to contribute. Now, there are several new abilities that come out of this. The most important is the kill code supercomputing, which actually doubles the vaccine development. You really want it. However, it costs 35 points, which is a lot, unfortunately. So yeah, that's going to be a whole lot of fun for us. It's funny because I actually got so frustrated with this scenario that I started doing research on the Reddit, in the wiki, looking for forums where people talked about the mobile version of this virus and how you can beat it on Mega Brutal. And some of the guides are out of date because it looks like in the last month or so, the devs made the nanovirus harder by making kill code computing cost 35 points instead of 23. Yeah, that makes a bit of a difference. I don't know why they decided to make it harder, but they absolutely did. Anyway, all right, so we really want this, but there's some other abilities we want to get in the meantime. The first one I'm going to get is actually hacking of the climate routines, and then we are going to try for the scrambling of heat resistance, because if it did start in Africa, that means it's almost all hot countries. If we can scramble this, that's going to slow down the infection rate by a rather significant amount. Are we already traveling to Morocco? It looks like we are. Okay, let's get down here into East Africa. Yeah, a lot of people violating the quarantine. This quarantine's not going to last for very long. We're probably going to have to shut it down about now, actually. I was really hoping they would last a little bit longer, but yeah, in this case, it looks like no, they don't want to follow this. But I can't afford to lose more authority because these people are refusing to follow my orders. Here come a whole load of points. Yep, that's going to be great. Okay, so now that we have that taken care of, the next thing we do want to get is the kill code supercomputing. And we're actually shockingly close to that, so if I can just discover a couple more countries that have been infected, which there are a few, we should be able to pick this up. Let's just get into India, and that was enough. Good, let's grab this next. Then we're going to go for special codes, and special codes is going to unlock something called cycle suspension, which is going to stop all nanovirus activity for 1 month. No new infections, no new deaths, okay? Pretty darn nice. 19 resources. That is the next thing we need. While we're at it, let's go ahead and explore some places that I'm pretty sure have been infected, like Japan, because they'll contribute well to the cure, and also we want those extra points. We could send our guys to try and slow down the spread in Angola, since I think that's the starting location, but it doesn't look like that's going to work. Let's get down here into New Zealand, then into Australia. They've got some good contributions they can offer. Maybe Korea. We'll do that right there. Okay, perfect. Yeah, let's go for that cycle suspension now that we have the points, and that's going to slow everything down for a brief moment to give us a teensy respite. Notice the numbers are gone for just a moment. This is your last chance to go and explore all the rich countries you can find to get as much contribution to that cure going as possible. So I'm going to explore the rest of Europe real quick. We're going to get down over here through Turkey. And while I would love to get things like New Guinea, I'm not sure that I can. Let's go and explore Mexico, because I may need to shut down North America in a minute. We only have a few days left before this is going to shut down on us. Okay, so we have a fair number of points. The next thing we are going to want to do is get something called emotion dampening. And that is located under the secondary routines. And what it does is it hacks the brain of everyone who's already been infected by the nanovirus and reduces their panic, so less authority, from people getting infected and dying. We're just hacking their brains straight out, which I'm good with. So let's go ahead and do that next. After that's done, we probably will want to grab some levels of contact tracing, but I actually want to get infection control and emergency care first, so that my field operatives can now try to heal some of the nations that are currently being impacted the most. Let's also grab, let's say, border monitoring and contact tracing. We'll go for testing capacity in a moment. Okay, so we'll get this. Let's get down to Argentina real quick. And where is the numbers the worst? It is actually not Angola. It is Central Africa. So we're going to head over here next. And we might need to start locking down the world in a little bit. It might be worth trying to do that, actually. Now I have to make a decision here. Do I want to continue with some testing capacity for the large outbreaks, or do I go straight for the lockdowns? I think in this case, I go for a lockdown in mostly Africa. Let's go ahead and do that again. Reduce that infection rate. I'm going to grab one level of furlough schemes to try and reduce how much it's impacting things. I wanted to get that lockdown going just before the numbers start to increase again, which looks like I was slightly late on the timing there, so that the nanovirus is not able to spread quite as much as it was before. So now the rest of the game is all about hoping that this kill code gets done soon. We're at 67 days. And then maintaining our authority as much as we can. More testing capacity can help here, but what I'm actually going to do is go for clinical treatments, then ventilators, then steroid medication. And this is going to help reduce the fatality rate a lot, which helps preserve some of our authority. And then after that, we're going to grab convalescent plasma, which increases the vaccine research speed. There's also interferon treatment and monoclonal antibody treatment, both of which also reduce the fatality rate and increase the vaccine speed. These are optional if I can get them, but they're helpful. The less deaths, the better, because that's what's going to hurt a lot right now. We also need to make sure we save some points to grab more authority whenever the chance presents itself. Okay, so do we go for the testing capacity? Let's see. First off, Central Africa is looking better. How are we doing in Europe? Mostly okay. Egypt's looking fine. South Africa, it's all in Africa. So let's go to East Africa next. We're going to try to save people here if we can. Losing a bit more of that authority. I'm going to go ahead and grab... This is a fair bit cheaper. Let's go for the interferon treatment and also some testing capacity. Then I'm going to save up my points for nothing but authority for the rest of the game. The spread is starting to hurt. Yeah, the authority is going to start going down pretty badly. Let's go ahead and grab authority level 1. Now, there is a trick to try and survive a little bit longer. Once we get down to about 40 or preferably 30 days, what we'll want to do is grab censorship. Now, this freezes your authority loss for 1 month. Yes, it does increase non-compliance. That's no fun. But not losing authority can actually give you just enough time to survive the game. Now, 1 month is a bit of a lie, right? It says it'll last for 1 month, but there's always a chance from a random event that some nation in the world is going to break your censorship or uncover your fake news, whichever it's going to be. So realistically, don't count on getting the full 30 days. But the good news is there's a second one after censorship that is fake news. So if we have 30 days left on our development of our vaccine, I am fairly confident we can click this button, and then once it's getting rid of, we get the next one, and then we win. That's the thought, but we have to make our authority last long enough in the meantime. France is just now starting to pick up. We're looking pretty good in East Africa. We could probably move down to South Africa next. So far, the numbers are looking sort of okay, getting a few extra points. That's nice. I want to get the authority level 2, but I don't think I can. I'm just going to save everything I've got for nothing but authority for the rest of the game. That's the only choice I've got here. Numbers in South Africa are not going down as fast as I wanted. Now we need to get up to France because Europe's starting to freak out. Actually, the UK is way worse right now. Let's get up over there. How long will that kill code? 27 days. This is where I'm going to pick up censorship and a level of authority. Now, our authority is not going to go down. Lots of people are going to be dying, but it's okay. We're going to keep that authority nice and high. I would love to get the next level of authority, but let's make sure we save, I think it's 15 points to get up to fake news. Iceland has been devastated. Yeah, no kidding. Well, that's probably fine, right? Okay, we're freeing up UK. That's good. Authority's looking all right. Looking for an event that says we're going to be in trouble. 11 days left. You know, I would be tempted to spend these points and grab this authority right now, but you can't do it. Don't be tempted. This is what nearly killed me last time, is I saw I was right at the very end. So I'm like, okay, instead of grabbing the fake news, I'm just going to grab this. And all of a sudden, someone stopped the censorship, and I went down to like 2 authority before I suddenly won. Like, it got really stupidly close. All right, now we have enough points I feel comfortable. Now, that may not be 15, but the good news is I can just revoke the lockdown and get 5 points. So now we have officially won. Okay, there's the thwarting. We're about to see our authority drop by like 10 per day. Not going to risk that. Let's go ahead and revoke the lockdown, grab the fake news, preserve that authority, and wait for the kill code. It is now being broadcast, and that is it. We're going to see it almost instantaneously go away. It's been eradicated. 72 million people died, 3 stars. Boom. There you go. That was actually way better than my previous victory. We got a little lucky this time because it did mostly stay contained to Africa, but that's where getting the climate resistance is pretty helpful. Obviously, if it started off in, let's say, the Baltic states or whatever, you'd want to go for the cold resistance instead. If it starts down here in Southeast Asia or South America, again, go for that climate resistance. The only time that this strategy sort of falls apart is when it starts in a nation that's neutral in climate, like, let's say, the US or China. If that happens, I'll be honest, I don't really know what to do. Maybe pick up based on what you think the neighbors are going to be, but like Canada's cold and Mexico's hot, which do you go for? That's where I get confused, and my indecision usually gets me killed. Nonetheless, I feel pretty good about this attempt. 174 days, 67 authority, 112,000 points, 3 stars, 72 million dead. Ouch. So, that leaves only 1 remaining disease type. The prion was pretty tough. The nanovirus was brutal. Now I'm really worried about the bioweapon. Do I hear boss music? I might. Stay tuned for the next episode. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If so, then I would ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys next time.